Hi, third period, it's Mrs. Tucker. Oh yeah, fifth period too, how you doing? I told you all I'd make you a little video to get you guys going on solving these equations involving age. And I think fifth period got to see problem number 1, but third period didn't. So here we go, let's do this. Before I get into this problem, I want to explain something to you. Here's me, this is me, and this is my daughter. She goes to University of Oklahoma. When I was 30 years old, my daughter was born, and let's call her 0 years old, okay? When she was, oh, and the difference between our ages is 30 years. When she was 15 years old, I'm still how much older than she is? I'm still 30. So when she was 15, I was 45. When she turns 30, I will still be 30 years older than her. And I will be 60. So there is one thing consistent here. The difference in our ages never changes. But there is something interesting here. When she's 15, if we call her X, if her age at that point in time is X, isn't my age 3 times her age? Yeah, because 15 times 3 is 45. When she reaches this point in time, when she's 30 years old, let's call her age Y. What's the relationship between my age referenced back to her age? I'm going to be twice as old as she is then. She's not 30. She's about to turn 21. But when she is 30, I'm still 30 years older than her, but at that point in time, I'm going to be twice as old as she is. Back here, I was 3 times as old. At this point in time, I'm going to be twice as old as she is. And that right there, that relationship is what we're going to be using in these age problems. You know, the fact that the difference in our ages never changes, but at some point in time, this crazy stuff happens. So let's take a look at this first problem. It says Mr. Clinker is 35 and his daughter is 10. And that's how old they are now. So let's fill in the boxes here. Clinker is 35 years old and his daughter is 10 years old. In how many years will Mr. Clinker be twice as old as his daughter? That means how many years in the future? It's not in the past. So here I've got a column right here that says age in the past. If we're talking the past, we'll be subtracting years. But if we're talking the future, we'll be adding years. So this is like a little cheat sheet here. And the thing that we don't know is the number of years. So I'm going to define my variable, which I did for you, and I said let y equal the number of years. In how many years will Mr. Clinker be twice as old as his daughter? It's y years into the future, so Mr. Clinker's age is going to be 35 plus y, that number of years. That's how old he'll be at that point in time. This is his age. How old will his daughter be at that point in time? Yeah, she's going to be 10 years plus that many years also. That's how old she'll be. So you've got to set up, and this is probably the hardest part of all of this, is setting up and defining what their ages are in the future or in the past. Now we're going to use this relationship. In how many years Mr. Clinker will be, that right there's your equal, twice as old as his daughter. In the future, at that point in time, Mr. Clinker is 35 plus y, and he will be twice as old as his daughter. 2 times his daughter's age, and his daughter is what? At that point in time, she's 10 plus y. That sets up our equation. Do we really need the parentheses right here? Are we distributing any numbers other than a positive 1? Nope, so we can take the parentheses out right there. Do we need the parentheses here? Yes, because we're going to be distributing a 2. So these parentheses are necessary. So I get 35 plus y equals 20 plus 2y. All right? Now, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. I've done distributive property. Do I need to combine like terms? I've got a y over here, and on this side I've got 2y. So yes, I need to take either subtract y from both sides or subtract 2y from both sides. I told you guys, do whatever keeps your variable positive. So I'm going to subtract y from both sides. That leaves me with 35 equals 20 plus, what's 2y take away y? 1y. I have one more step. I want to get y by itself. I need to subtract 20 from both sides. So I get y equals 15. I'm thinking y equals 15 years is the answer. Let's go back and double check. In 15 years, how old is Mr. Clinker going to be? If I add on 15 years, he's going to be what? He'll be 50. In 15 years, how old is his daughter? She's going to be 10 plus 15. She's going to be 25. Is Mr. Clinker twice as old as she is at that point in time? Yeah, he is, and it checks out. So I know my answer is 15 years. Okay? Let's try another age problem. The other ones on this page, you're going to set them up just like this. If you like to have the box, make the box. Here's the next one I wanted to do. This is still an age problem, but a little twist on this because they do give you the number of years. Okay, we have Rita and we have Dorothy. Dorothy is 14 years younger than Rita. Here's Rita and here's Dorothy. Dorothy is 14 years younger than Rita. Dorothy's age is being referenced to Rita's age. So Rita's age, let's see, Dorothy's 14 years younger. If I take Rita's age and subtract 14, do I not get Dorothy's age? I'm going to make my variable R, and I'm going to call it Rita. I'm going to call R Rita's age now. Dorothy is 14 years younger than Rita. So Dorothy is R minus 14. And the difference in their ages is always going to be 14. Okay? All right, so I've defined my variables, and here's the ages that they are now. Put a set of parentheses around Dorothy. You might need it. 10 years ago, is that the past or the future? Are we talking the past or the future if we're talking 10 years ago? That was the past, yeah, so we're going to wind up subtracting here. 10 years ago, how old was Rita 10 years ago? If she's R right now, 10 years ago, how old was she? R minus 10, yes. If Dorothy right now is R minus 14, how old was Dorothy 10 years ago? Yeah, R minus 14, take away another 10, and that simplifies to R minus what? When you put negative 14 together with negative 10. That's Dorothy's age 10 years ago. Okay, now that I know what their ages were 10 years ago, I can finish with this. Rita was, did you hear that equal sign right here? Rita's age was 3 times as old as Dorothy was then. Rita's age was, Rita was what back then? She was R minus 10, that was her age back then, and she was 3 times as old as Dorothy back then. How old was Dorothy back then? R minus 24. Woo, doing this right here is the hardest part in all of these word problems. Setting up that equation. That's the hardest part. But I'm giving you a nice little set of notes to follow. Okay? Do we need the set of parentheses right here? Am I distributing something other than positive 1? No, so I don't really need those parentheses. Do I need these parentheses here? Yes, because I'm distributing a 3. So I do need those parentheses. So let's distribute first. I get r minus 10 equals 3r minus, what's 3 times 24? 72? Now, can I combine like terms? Well, not on either side, but I have an r over here and 3 r's over here, and we don't want them on either side. We want them on one side or the other. So I'm either going to subtract 3r or subtract r from both sides. Do whichever keeps it positive. I don't think I'm going to subtract r. So over here, I get negative 10 equals, what's 3r subtract r? 2r minus 72. All right, trying to solve for r. I've got to get rid of subtraction by 72. I'm going to add 72. Whoops, that's not 72. I'm going to add 72 to both sides. 72 plus a negative 10, that's 62 equals 2 times r. I want to know what r is. I got to get rid of multiplication by 2. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get r equals 31. And the question is, how old is each now? Here's their ages now. Rita is what? Rita is 31 years old. Look right here, plug in 31 right there, and Dorothy is how old? We're going to take 31 and subtract 14, and you get what? How old's Dorothy? Oh, let's see here. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, not 27. She's 17. Dang, I can't add. I can't subtract.
I use the calculator.
Oh. I'm getting old. That's my excuse. All right? That right there is the hardest word problem I'm going to ask you guys to do. So you're going to follow these steps to do the other ones that look like this. You just have to be careful. Are we talking the past? If we are, you're subtracting. If we're talking in the future, instead of subtracting here and here, you're going to add. Okay? Good luck with this, guys.